doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley on this side with you. Quinn Pushkar makes his triumphant return after a little, I don't want to say vacation because you were working your tail off down in Kentucky. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more here on the Ysn Power Hour. We welcome your comments and your questions in the chat box. So, am I going to make it? I was doing so well for weeks. My wife said, "Oh, you know what? You haven't coughed in a while." 2 minutes later, coughing. Check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as ysnlive.com to get your comments in. You know what it's time for? Well, we start every single day here in the Ysn Power Hour in 2022. It is on this day in sports history. All right, Quinn. So on this day in sports history, it's a little bit of what's more impressive. Okay. So July 19th, 1989. Take yourself back there before you were born.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. It's all the same thing. Cleveland Indians, Joe Carter, you know, like the hero from the Toronto Blue Jays, has his fourth, not one, not two, not three, four, 3 home run game on this day in sports history in 1989, or we don't want to go with that one. Is that more impressive to have a 3 home run game 4 times, or to do what LeBron does, triple-double wise, on a more consistent basis?
Triple-double.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, that's easier, but the numbers are more impressive. I know I'm a basketball guy. I think baseball's boring. So,
but like a 3 home run game,
it's harder to hit 3 home runs than it is to get a triple.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's harder to do.
So how's that not more impressive?
Because it's baseball, and I can care less. I think that's stupid. Some guy can hit a ball far 3 times. Woo! It's the same concept as you saying LeBron getting a triple-double. Like,
I'm just saying they're both impressive feats.
Yeah, I think the triple-double's more impressive.
Why?
I'm a basketball guy. It just looks better. Like, so a guy can hit a ball far. Who cares?
Hey, look, a ball fell off the rim.
Like,
I caught it. That's called a rebound.
It's the same.
I got 10 of those. Congrats.
Yeah, same thing.
All right, so
Difference of opinions.
I get it, but like, we're never gonna.
No,
we're
it's
never gonna settle on this.
No,
never ever. People get people get triple doubles more frequently now than ever. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's more stat stuffing now. Yeah.
Like if you got a triple double, like you're pretty stoked about it, but you're like, okay, that's.
Westbrook kind of ruined that for a lot of people with the way that he plays, because when he was in, I think it was Oklahoma City towards the end, when he was on his triple double tear or whatever, he was telling people to give him the rebounds, basically. Get out of the way, let me go get these.
Had the stats,
all that stuff. Yeah. So
okay, so a triple double, 3 touchdowns as a receiver or a running back in the NFL. 6 touchdowns, maybe 5. Let's go 5. 5 touchdowns from a quarterback, 3 home runs. What is, like, rank those?
For what? Like most impressive or like
most
hardest
impressive
to do?
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the same thing, right? It's the same genre. Most impressive, hardest to do.
Not in my mind. Like I think hardest to do would be the home run, the 3 home runs in a game.
Because it's not up to you.
I also think that it's Yeah, but at the same point, I would be more impressed with 3 touchdowns receiving.
Would you, if let's put yourself in a baseball situation, right?
Oh,
I know you don't like it.
Oh,
If
boy.
you were a baseball player, would you rather have a perfect game as a pitcher or a 3 home run game as a hitter?
Oh, perfect game.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
So I think I'd rather have the
100%.
3 home runs.
No, not many. Ooh, there's been, 28 perfect games?
Very
That'd
good.
be 29th. Like,
Very good.
I'll take that. Joe Carter had 3 home run games.
Yeah, I know, but
I'll take number 29, and I'll live off of that. Dallas Braden still gets talked about, and he threw a perfect game on Mother's Day. Like, the guy was a turd, and he threw a perfect game, and he's still talked about.
it's true.
I'll take that instead.
I respect that.
I'll
And
take
out of all of them, what would you do as an athlete?
for like
Triple double, 5 touchdowns throwing, 3 touchdowns catching or running, 3 home runs, a perfect game.
Oh, I'd take the perfect game.
Still over everything.
100%. It'd be 29th.
What's the equivalent of a perfect game in basketball?
Would play a perfect basketball game.
Because it
No turnovers, don't miss shots. Probably a triple double all in one.
has that ever been done?
No. Chris Paul did it recently where he didn't miss a shot. A lot of that stuff's tough to do. I don't even know what to Google for that.
A perfect basketball game? Has it ever been it
I mean-
has to be. There's somebody that's had a perfect basketball game. But
Like-
you have to play every minute though, right?
You would have to play every minute. You wouldn't be able to miss a shot. You probably wouldn't. You
No
couldn't
turnovers?
Turn the ball over, yeah. I don't know if there even is.
Can you fill the stat sheet? Has anybody ever had
There's been a quadruple.
one?
There's been some quadruple doubles in the past. David Robinson had one.
Not even just quadruple doubles, just has anybody ever filled the stat sheet? Literally something on every line,
I would assume,
including turnovers.
I would assume so. It's more impressive when you go like Tony Snell a couple years ago played a whole game and did nothing, no stats, just played,
Just minutes.
just minutes, nothing else. Didn't turn the ball over, didn't make a shot,
How does that happen?
didn't shoot the ball, didn't assist, didn't get a rebound, nothing. So
Siggy says Wilt scoring 100.
yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
That's
it's never been done.
I mean,
other than him.
I personally, I am more impressed with Kobe scoring 81 than I am Wilt scoring 100 because of the time. Wilt was 7 foot playing the guys at Circle K. He's just unguardable.
Looking
Still
for polar
100. I
pops.
respect the heck out of it. Yeah. But Wilt, what he did that year, he averaged, I think, 55 and 35 or something like that, which that's impressive, but he's still playing the two of us trying to guard him in the post.
I'm telling you what, man. Wilt wants to post up on me.
Yeah.
He might get it twice.
I mean, that part's impressive in its own way. I think Klay Thompson doing what he did in the 3 quarters, the 60-something in 3 quarters, was pretty impressive. That stuff's never going to be broken, so it doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
There's
either.
nobody going to score over 100. It's just not going to happen.
We're going to talk a little bit about your trip down south to Kentucky and how impressive it is, and how impressive you and EB did. Number one, because I thought that was really cool. Did you watch any of the home run derby at all?
Oh, God, no.
Not even a little bit.
No, I watched
You watched
3
us.
guys talk about hitting home runs and reliving the past, basically.
Did you get the home tour? The DJ Oakley home tour?
I've had it in person.
That's true.
It's more impressive in person.
Richie was
Appreciate the turf a little bit more.
see, you could feel it between your toes. Richie didn't understand, or I guess he didn't believe all the stuff that I had. I've created quite the memorabilia collection in the basement. So I gave everybody the tour, but the problem was the camera. It's one of these,
Oh, yeah.
so it wouldn't let me pull around. So I
Oh.
was corded down, and I could only do this. So Richie didn't believe me that I had a world championship, a legit world
Mhm.
championship WWE one, not the plastic one that's in the office that I let people play with, a legit one. I'm not even allowed to touch that. It's behind glass. 30th birthday, Sarah Oakley hooked it up. Okay, so you didn't see it. There was a little bit of intrigue because Albert Pujols goes in and he hit something ridiculous, 12 home runs, which isn't much in today's day and age for a round.
It's
And
for
they
a
just started
40-year-old, though.
they just started doing his swan song.
Really?
They just the players came around him and they're doing the worship thing, and appreciating Albert Pujols, which I loved.
Mhm.
But then Kyle Schwarber, much to the delight of every Cleveland fan in the world, poops the bed and can't get Pujols out. Only ties Pujols, so it goes to a swing off. Pujols wins and it goes to the next round, only to lose to Soto. But I thought that was so intriguing from the standpoint of, like, people always think it's scripted, like things like that are scripted. Like, ESPN looked like
You still got to hit the ball.
they got egg on their face last night.
You script it all you want to. You still got to hit the ball over the wall.
It was real. Gary Vaynerchuk's texting me right now, along with everybody else on his mailing list, probably. But I thought, Quinn, the neatest thing was last night, as much trash as Soto has taken, he put all that aside and went out and just did damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I will tell you this: the one thing that I do not like about the home run derby, one guy hit 82 home runs and lost, while the other guy hit 53. Like, you hit 30 home runs more than another dude, you should get an extra 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the way it's all bracketed. I think that's dumb.
I mean, the old way where it was a home run or it's not, and you get 10 outs,
yeah.
I thought was awesome.
That's the best way to do it, because now you're seeing who hits more home runs.
I don't like.
Isn't the point of this to hit home runs and win?
Well, I mean, if
like,
you
not just hit more than the guy next to you.
Yeah.
Like,
because if
you mean to tell me I could win with 2 home runs or whatever?
Yeah.
If you hit 0 against me, like, that's stupid.
So exactly. So it should be, if there's 8 people, it should be the top 4 home run getters advance.
Yeah, just break it down. Yeah,
that's it. I'm with you. I don't like the brackets.
No, brackets are dumb. Brackets are meant for teams, not people.
And I don't like the 3 minutes of hitting home runs and however many you can hit in 3 minutes, and then you get another 3 minutes, and then you get another 3 minutes.
I get that part a little bit more though.
Dude, just 10 outs.
Yeah.
If you
then
go
you're
off,
gonna have the guy that sits there and waits for the perfect throw every time, and it's bad enough that I'm watching it. Like, I don't want to see some guys sit there taking 20 pitches to hit one.
See, I respect that because, and I think it's a little bit of
swing. You get 10 pitches, just swing at 10.
Well,
10 in a row. That's it.
And I think one of the things that you can do is you can say you can't take back-to-back pitches.
Yeah, something like that.
If you take back-to-back pitches, it's a penalty. Mm-hmm. But like, if you want to take 8 pitch, I don't have a problem.
Well, I remember watching the last time I watched a home run derby was Josh Hamilton in 08. God, that was miserable. That was long.
When he was hitting the ball out of the stadium?
It was miserably long, though. He batted for like an hour because he would wait 9 times.
See,
just hit the ball.
Yeah, but if you take 1 and that's it, then I'm cool with that.
I understand
because
taking 1 or 2, but
they're swinging.
Good Lord,
a 3-pound bat.
True. Do it with wiffle balls. Then I could appreciate it more.
I can get behind a wiffle ball home run derby. All right, let's talk about the Run for Roses. Down there for 2 weeks, essentially. You guys did just yeoman's work. Again, another successful campaign for you, for Tucker, for Hucky, for EB, the entire crew that puts it on. What is it for people that have never watched Run for Roses? What is it like from beginning to end?
Which way do you want it? You want it as a coach or as a worker?
I mean, from both standpoints, I guess, from all different standpoints.
So I'll start with coaching. That's a lot easier.
Okay.
It's 4 days of probably the best basketball in high school, middle school, whatever age group you're in, girls basketball basically. And I haven't seen anything quite like it. We've got, how many courts were there? Was 80 some odd courts in one building, one facility.
You said there was 90 plus.
Yeah. With some of the other gyms, it was over 90. You get the world's best talent coming through basically. You get coaches that you see on TV, like Gino REM is there. You get coaches from Notre Dame, UCLA, UNC, all sorts of stuff.
Frank says Laker pride.
Frank, I love Frank. He was a big help for us all season long. He's a big supporter of us, and his daughter's really good too. I'm very proud of her. But yeah, the Roses it's a event that it's almost hard to explain it. From a coaching standpoint, getting to coach in front of so many different courts, so many different people, putting the girls in a situation that, you're not used to in this area, because it could be overwhelming. There's, in the main part of the building, there's probably 70 courts that are going all at once and stuff like that. So you get whistles everywhere, you get different things going on, different distractions and stuff. And it's something incredible. From a working standpoint, it's living hell, I guess,
I bet.
for a little while. But you get to see all the players come through. You get to be a part of something special like this. I mean, it's 1,400 some odd teams, I think it was this year. Over 14,000 girls were competing. You get to see coaches, you get to see college coaches, you get to see all these different things. You get to watch basketball at a level that not many people get to be a part of. And you get to see a bunch of championships, which
for you, is this like the wrap up of your basketball season?
Yeah.
I mean, because you go essentially from September all the way to July.
Yeah. So for me, I'm sure it's the same for Eric and, Hucky and all that stuff. We don't really get time off. We're year round, whether it's high school ball or open gyms or summer workouts, lifting, stuff like that, straight into AAU season and then into the exposure stuff like this. It's year round.
Talk about the challenges of putting an event like this together. I'm sure that it probably went off absolutely perfect from the outsider's perspective, but when you're inside, when you're kind of inside behind the curtain, there's challenges. What to you, what was your biggest challenge of letting this whole week and a half go off?
So me and Eric we help on the hotel side of things. Eric's kind of in charge of all the hotel stuff. Does a great job with all that. And it's with player check-in and stuff like that. You got to get certain hotel information. You got to make sure everybody's taken care of the right way. You have to have certain numbers and hotel stuff that normal people don't understand. It all comes from reservations and stuff. And being in the Roses event, it's a state of play event, so you have to have proof that you're staying in one of the hotels and all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's all economic impact, I guess, for the city and all that. It's a bunch of stuff that's way over my head, but you gotta get the information and stuff like that and put it on a website so that we can all basically just make sure that you're certified good to play and all that.
So if you're a team from Louisville,
there's a local option.
Okay, gotcha.
You're there.
Okay.
You're not going to have to stay because you're right there.
Right.
It's like, I think 100-mile radius or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which all goes through the city, the NCAA, all this other stuff.
Wow.
Backside stuff that way above my head. But,
talk about your performance, your team's performance down there.
So we went 3-0 in pool play, 4-0 overall to start. We played a bunch of good teams. We played a team from Canada, played a team that was one of the higher end teams, I thought, out of the program of distinction. That was our one non-pool play game that we won. But I was impressed. I thought they played really well. Being seventh graders, they're not used to something like that. A lot of them probably the first time they've ever left, Northeast Ohio, Western PA area, to go to an event like this. Is what they did was incredible. We played well. We did a lot of good stuff. We went into the bracket. We were one game away, semifinals, and we lost by 3 in overtime. And it is what it is. There's looking back on it, I probably could have fixed some stuff, done some things differently. I've had conversations with Nate about it, who helps me coach and stuff like that. There's things that we could have done differently and probably should have done looking back on it, but it was, in that moment, it's what we decided and we went with it. It just didn't work.
So every coach, like you just kind of alluded to, he or she looks back and says, there's things I could do different, but there's also things that you couldn't. Mm-hmm. And I think every coach, whether it's seventh grade or senior or into the NCAA or maybe even professionally, is just looking for consistency out of players. How challenging for you at seventh grade is it to find consistency in players that are really finding what kind of player they are at that moment?
It's tough. I mean, being in AAU, we get the joys of kind of picking who we want, who fits a system that we want to have. This group that we've had, it's been 2-3 years in the making now. Locally, this is the first time we've ever gone somewhere like this. So, you get that core group and you could always add pieces and see what you got to do. Others start finding what they want to do, softball, track, stuff like that. So they'll go in a different direction and you replace what you have to replace. But for the most part, we have a solid core of like 4 or 5 that have been with us the whole way. What they did, they did everything that we wanted. It was everything kind of came together that we were working on all year to come to this point and put it together, and it worked.
So you're one of the guys we talk about when we talk about AAU, travel ball, stuff like that. How challenging is it in the middle of a softball season, essentially, to get people to even think about basketball?
It's one of those things like in AAU, we're not overly demanding of it. We practice once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll figure it out. At least my group. I'm not sure what Eric does, and everybody has their own setups and stuff like that. So what I do is different than everybody else, I'm sure. But I'll work with everybody to make sure we get the right schedule, avoid softball, even though it's pointless to do softball, but that's a different discussion. I'll have that argument with Anthony. But it's the girls are basketball kids first. It seems like they want
the ones that you have.
Yeah, the ones that I have are basketball kids first. The only one that really wasn't that I think could be is Frank's daughter.
Yeah,
because she is legitimately that good at softball.
Yeah,
like she's good. But we work with them all throughout the course of the season, working on practice times and stuff to avoid softball. Tournament wise, we do a good job of working around the schedule. Huck does a good job of helping me schedule it so I could avoid the softball things.
Do you ever get mixed up with some of these softball coaches with how, no?
No.
Okay.
I try to stay away from a lot of it. I make the girls talk and be like, hey, listen, you deal with that stuff. I'll tell you when our stuff is. But for the most part, we work around it and stuff like that. And when there's tournaments and stuff like that, I try to get all their schedules and base the tournaments that I go to based on where they might be for softball. I know there was a couple this past year where we were relatively close to each other, so they could do both. I'm not going to take you away from a sport yet.
Boy.
Once you get to high school, then I'll take you away from softball because
garbage.
Listen, it's Northeast Ohio. You're going to play 10 games anyway. It's going to rain out, snow out. With the way we start, we start in the beginning of March.
But you know how big softball is around here.
I get it.
You understand. It is a monster.
I get it.
Like I appreciate AAU. I don't think it'll ever be travel softball.
I understand.
There are obsessive, parents.
100%.
Like nutty people about travel softball that just like sports advocate through and through 100%. And I'm sitting there like, all right, calm down. Most impressive part of Run for Roses, the entire thing for you?
For me, just the collection of it all. It all came together where so many people came to one city to really appreciate girls basketball. It's tough to explain because you figure you start doing the math, 14,000 athletes, you figure 2 parents each. Now you're getting into bigger numbers, and then they'll bring family, and Lord knows what else they're bringing with them and everything. And it's a flood. It floods the city.
Yeah.
And you get to be around basketball at the highest level with some of the great talents that's around there. Top 100 kids are coming through. Seeing those kind of people, it's an incredible experience.
Frank says Quinn loves softball. Don't let him lie on the air. I know for a fact, Frank, he does not. And he certainly does not like baseball any more than he likes basketball. Okay, so did you learn any lessons down there? Is there anything that stuck out to you maybe this time that you wrote down or you jotted down on your notebook there that here's something I'm never going to do again?
Up 3 with 3 seconds left, foul.
Oh.
That's the one I'm at right now. That's where I've been stuck. But
do you watch the film over and over? Or
I don't. I'm one of those basketball people. Yeah, I can kind of remember a lot of that stuff. I remember the situation perfectly, and looking back on it, I probably should have fouled. But I'm okay with what I decided on.
Because they tossed up a 3, right?
Yeah. So basically what was happening, and I'm sure Frank remembers vividly too. One of their girls basically just kind of took over at that point. And we were up by 8 or so late. And she just kind of took over and put him in a spot where she was scoring all the points for that team, and nobody else was really doing anything. Like, it was 5-6 minutes where nobody else shot the basketball, nobody else touched the basketball other than her. And it is what it is. She was a great player, left-handed and stuff like that, really talented. At 7th grade, you get somebody that can go left. Good luck. And it's tough to guard. But, 3 seconds left. We had timeout, drew up a triangle and 2. We doubled her. Didn't want her touching the basketball. I said, we'll guard the arc and hope to God one of the ones that haven't shot the ball in 20 minutes is going to miss. Didn't miss is what it is.
Wow.
Went to overtime, and
It seems like a pretty
that was it.
solid plan. I mean,
Yeah. Usually, Nate's the same way with me, is like in that situation, because we're both assistant coaches at high school.
mm-hmm.
So we have a different outlook a lot of times, where our main thought in that situation is what's a good situation?
Yeah.
And me and him both, usually we come up with the idea, like, we're there, we're fouling or something, we can, for my situation, like, I could tell Huggy, I could be like, hey, listen, maybe we should foul, something like that. But at that time, neither one of us thought of it. I don't know why. Usually we're always there, and it is what it is. We did what we thought, and one of the two was going to work. Don't know if we had a foul to give. I can't remember, but either way, should have fouled in my mind. Now looking back on it, it should have fouled, done what we should have done. What seventh, you foul in that situation, what 7th grader's going to have the presence of mind to make one of them miss?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Coaching
Is what it is.
we're going to talk. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about coaching. I feel like coaches, assistant, head, whatever you want to talk, they've been under fire for a lot of different reasons. We're going to talk about some of those reasons, some concerns maybe that you have, maybe some that you haven't even realized yet that might be on the horizon for coaches in this area, because we have an official shortage. And ladies and gentlemen, if we keep up the way we're acting, we're going to have a coaching shortage in just a few years. We're going to talk to Quinn Pushkar, our guest today. Didn't have to go far, so that was nice. Here on the Ysn Power Hour, after a word from these great sponsors.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you, or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name's Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These 3 values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
So my favorite thing about the breaks is we get to have the conversation, and the entire time it was kind of silent. Quinn just should have fouled. I should have fouled. We would have won. We would have. So are you one of those coaches? Because I am. That you learn better by making the mistakes and knowing for next time, or should you have known?
A little of both. In
Okay.
my mind, I should have known because I do it all year, like naturally. I do it all year.
But how much time in that moment that you're focusing on? How much time did you actually have to make that decision?
About a minute and a half.
Okay, so that's like a
timeout. But at the same point, like, so in reality, probably 15 seconds
Okay.
to make that decision because we had a timeout that we were using. Well, we didn't use it. They called a timeout. About 15 seconds to make the decision to either foul or do what we did. And if we did what we had to do, well, if we did what we chose to do, I would have had it drawn up. So I used the timeout to draw it up. So in reality, about 15 seconds.
So you have 15 seconds to make that decision. And that's what we talk about coaches getting flack. I mean, most coaches are studied up, prepared as much as they possibly can be. Your scenario, same thing. But there's some things you just don't anticipate. And when you don't anticipate, imagine having to make a decision, a life-altering decision in 15 seconds. Do you want this house or no? We had that. It's funny. We had that happen to us. We were looking at a house. We were going to put a bid in on a house, and they said that they were only accepting bids up until like 3:00, and it was 1:00. So we had to make a decision in that 2-hour span. That's life altering. And you think about coaching's a little bit different. Obviously, it's not life altering, but if you win that championship, it could alter some things. It could change the way that things are. And you go to the alternate universes and go down the Marvel black hole. And but you learned. And you've already said, this is what I would do next time. So you learn by making mistakes and making things right. Essentially, coaches, you've had a slew of great coaches in your career. When you're thinking about it, were you ever a part of a situation kind of that those girls were going through where you got to see it from the floor or from the bench or wherever it may be, live and in person, and you thought to yourself, wow, that was either really good that they made the change, or man, that really sucked. They probably should have done this or this.
I'm sure I have over the course of my time. I mean, being a part of Canfield basketball, I got to watch Coach McElroy and I got to watch Coach Cullen, and I'm sure somewhere down the line there was something incredible that those guys have done. I mean, just being at Lisbon coaching with Hucky, I'm sure there's been times where I just can't think of right now that, he's changed up something that might have won a game for us or, put us in a spot where nobody really thought we would have been. And we won because of it or something. I'm sure off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
Does it make you feel better knowing that you were in the same spot that the girls were in and you can't pinpoint one and hoping maybe they can't either?
Maybe. I don't know. It's
because I know you're beating yourself up.
I'm 2 weeks out of making a bad decision.
But does it make you feel any better knowing that didn't really alter their life that much? This was the best showing you've had, correct?
I mean, to an extent, yeah. Like, they're not going to remember it because they're 7th grade girls. Like, they just 2 weeks now, they're like, what's for dinner? Like, whatever. But I don't know. I would assume so.
What was the tone after the game? Were they pretty much over it, or
a little bit? Like, they were tired, so like they were just like, whatever. But some of them are competitive to the point where they were mad that we lost and everything like that. But we went to a different bracket and had some games still to play. So like it wasn't like our weekend ended there. It was just we didn't bring home a championship.
All right, so you got 5 starters in basketball on the floor at one time. You're always looking for that 6-man, 6-woman, right? What do you look for in that person particularly? Like, because that's not necessarily a role that someone wants all the time, is to be that 6th man or woman, the first person off the bench. They want to be on the floor.
From like this AAU standpoint, if I had to get a 6th person,
sure.
Naturally, I'm going to address the starters with what I need. We got some good ball handlers. We got some shooters. We got a good post player, and we got an all-around good basketball player. So we have some good pieces there. I mean, naturally, what I'm going to look for is probably another post player, if I had to guess first, just because you can't teach height at 7th grade.
But like mentality,
wise, somebody that gets after it.
Okay.
AAU is a fast paced kind of scrappy thing, and the way that we play, we're pressing, we're trying to get layups, we're trying to get traps and stuff. So you want somebody that's aggressive and able to move on to the next play if they foul or something like that, to where it's not going to affect them.
From your standpoint, just as a general coach, is it challenging nowadays to bench kids?
No.
Especially when, well,
not for me. No.
Wait, time out. From a standpoint of when you're recruiting, right? Nobody wants to sit the bench, especially AAU, travel ball, whatever it may be. Every parent, you've heard it, I'm sure. I paid good money to have my kid play here. I don't appreciate them not playing as much as I think they should play. Do you have to have those conversations with parents and have contracts and things of that nature prior to the season starting, so that way this stuff doesn't blow up in your face?
Me personally, no.
Okay.
I don't. Because I have the vision. I know what we're doing. I'll lay it out for everybody. I'll be like, listen, this is where we want to go. This is how we're going to do it. If you're on board, great. If not, see you later. I'll find somebody that is, whatever. But I don't care about who plays more. I don't care. We're trying to win games. We're trying to win championships. We're trying to basically just improve these kids to be better for when they go back to their schools. That's what my mentality is in AAU. I don't care about winning. You
don't care about the trophies. You care about making them better to go in schools, which is interesting because that is not what you hear across the board.
Do I want to win a championship? Absolutely. Would I love to have one? Of course. But at the end of the day, if playing down in Louisville and we lose, if that means they can all go back to their schools and play great basketball for their schools, that's all I care about.
Listen, man, I see your trophy collection building around your desk. I can appreciate that. All right. So from your standpoint, and I think you're a little bit different, which is why we ultimately like you as a coach, and I think it's why you can pull off doing double duty while you're down there. What's the tougher buy-in for a kid nowadays, or parent, or family, whatever it may be? Being recruited or being retained?
In travel ball, or
just for travel ball in general. Is it harder to recruit students to play for you the first time, or harder to keep them playing for you year in and year out? So with all the options.
I guess I'm in a different spot with this younger group, with the 7th graders, because as a whole, the 7th grade class, that kind of junior high class, is not good. There's not that many kids that are playing.
Yeah.
It's kind of that generational thing where more people are playing video games and being in the house and not going outside, not wanting to play. So finding the kids is tough. And it's like that across the board, doing the youth league and stuff like that through winter and stuff. It's a bad time of turnout for kids.
But programmatic, play. If you're looking at it from a program standpoint, do you see more of an issue with getting kids in?
It's finding them.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
But once they're in, what is it that keeps them coming back? And because there's so many different programs out there.
I think for us, speaking just for my team, we do a pretty good job. Me, Nate, and some of the parents that are always around it and stuff like that at practices and everything. It's a big family.
Gotcha.
We do a pretty good job of keeping everybody happy together, family wise. Winning always helps, obviously, but at the end of the day, they're more happy to go to a tournament, go out to dinner, and hang out as a group than they are to go play.
Why are so many people mad at travel ball and AAU? What's the most common misconception you think that you guys are under?
Probably that people are doing it for money, I would say. I mean, I don't know, because I try not to worry about that sort of thing. I don't really care about that. I would say probably the money side of things, because people know how much money can be made in these things. To run in a tournament, you can make probably a pretty decent amount if you truly broke it down and wanted to.
You and I were cooking up numbers the other day that was eye-opening.
But there's a lot that people don't understand.
Exactly.
Because they don't run businesses. They don't see the expenses that go into it. I would say probably the money thing is what people get a bad rap for.
What about the other way? What's the most common frustrations with travel ball, AAU, with high school coaches, high school administrators?
I'm not too sure about that, to be honest with you. I mean, the toughest thing that you run into is getting gym time as a coach. Like, where can we go practice? That's always tough. But from the administrative side of things, I'm not really sure what it would be.
Is there a pecking order? Like, do you feel like the schools have put themselves firmly on a number one or a power struggle maybe? Because, listen, we've heard it. We understand it, that most coaches at the collegiate level are not necessarily recruiting during their season, which coincides with your season as a high schooler. So do you think that there's like a, hey, you're too good or you think you're too good for us and da-da-da-da-da, and there's a feeling of high school seasons don't matter anymore because AAU coaches have put it in that context?
There could be. I could definitely see it. I mean, we do, like, just for our program, like, we're all high school coaches or junior high coaches. Like, we're all in this area working with our schools and stuff like that, coaching the kids that are in our schools. So, like, I don't know if it's because of that, like, administratively, they don't worry too much, maybe. I don't know. But I mean, I could definitely understand that concept as to why that's a problem. But at the same point, like, a college coach isn't going to come watch your high school basketball game because they're in the middle of their season. They don't have time.
So as a 7th grade coach, let's flip gears here real quick. One of the most common misconceptions for parents, for middle school coaches, all the way up to high school, into the collegiate ranks, is that my kid is going to play D1, hands down. This is what they have to do. Like, somebody's out there giving this like imaginary unicorn map for kids at 7th grade levels. And let's be honest, at 7th grade, you have no idea what, even at sophomore level, you don't know how tall you're going to be, how big when you're going to grow in your body, when you're going to mature. What do you do? Like, I'm sure you've come across parents like that, either on, teams that you play, or maybe even some of the parents that have come in. Do you handle that conversation, or do you just kind of let it go?
I mean, yeah, we have that conversation a lot. Like, we try to be as transparent as possible.
Sure.
As in, like, me and Nate, we're the two that coach the team. We try to be as transparent as possible. Like, be realistic. Like, look around our area. We haven't had many D1 kids.
How do you have that conversation with a parent? It's tough.
Just be honest with them. Like, it's straightforward. Like, listen, you don't want to listen? All right, don't. I don't care. You want to think your kid's D1, then go ahead. Like, you could think it. Whatever. Time will tell.
Because you really don't have to rain on their parade.
No, like, it's straightforward. Listen, we don't have D1 kids in our area. We just don't.
Not usually.
We haven't. Like, we just haven't had that many kids go D1 in the basketball world, I should say, on both sides, boys and girls. We just don't have that often. To be a D1 athlete, you got to be really special.
Is there explain to me the excitement of being a D1 athlete. It's especially, and I don't want people to get mad at me, but explain to me why the excitement of a D1 athlete in girls sports. Because 99%.
What makes it so special?
Yeah, hear me out here. Because 99% of the time, in girls sports especially, women's sports, you're not going pro.
Yeah.
Why is it so, like, here instead of you're going to whatever school? And this is a D3 guy
It's
talking.
just a different stigma. That's all it is.
It's just an achievement.
Yeah, I mean,
like, check the box.
Think of who was the last D1 girl to play in our area for basketball. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Daishanette Harris.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else. And it's not that we haven't had great basketball.
The girl from Valley.
Kirsten Gill.
Yes.
Walked on to Kentucky. Absolutely.
She's not there anymore.
No
I don't
clue.
think.
I have no idea. But Daishanette, she was probably the last legitimate D1 kid that
Lights
played
out.
at Pitt, played a great game of basketball.
And she was like 5'1",
she's a senior
by
now.
the way. Right?
Yeah, the style of basketball she played. And it's not that we haven't had good basketball in our area. We've had great kids. We've had great kids that have done great things. It's just a D1 kid is a different level.
And I'm not trying to take a squat on D1. Like, people always, well, you're against D1. I'm not against D1. I'm just,
it's realistic.
That's
my
people. It's
mind.
D1 or bust, and it's not like that. It's not like that at
D2
all.
still gives you money. You still can get athletic
D3
scholarships at D2.
can get you
D3
money
can get you money academically. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff out there.
Jackie Grisdo.
Yes, Jackie was another one.
But she didn't go on scholarship.
No,
she went on. She walked on, and then she
Correct.
earned her scholarship.
But it's different. And being at a tournament like the Run for Roses, I was able to tell the girls, go watch one of these kids, because there was a legitimate D1 kid there. She was going to Notre Dame. She was a top 50 kid in the country. Different level. She's my height as a guard. I watched her play 2 games. She made 16 threes. It's a different level.
Is the appeal not necessarily scholarships or professional? Is it just the attention you get? Is it being on TV? Prime time?
Probably. I mean, there's more money involved, but like,
Has
what's the
to be.
difference between going to Notre Dame and going to
Notre
some
Dame.
D2 school that can give
The
you
other
a full
Notre
ride
Dame.
anyway and
Yeah.
still get an education and play basketball? There's no difference.
I'm trying to get people to understand that D1 isn't a be all end all. It's not a magic one that, hey, you're going to go. And I mean, look at the draft. The Major League, I know you don't like baseball, but look at the Major League draft. We're looking for Dom Palale to get drafted. One of the best baseball players to come out of here in quite some time. And I don't think anybody's going to argue. He's raking at NC State. He did well in Charlotte. He got injured. But the reality is this guy should be drafted, and he's not. He was D1. Just because you go there does not mean that you are going to be a professional athlete.
No, that's a whole different topic.
5% of the D1.
I'll stick to the concept of going D1, and then that's where I end it.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about pros. That's impossible. You do the numbers, it's not going to happen.
No, like tonight, is it tonight? The Powerball?
Yeah.
$500 million?
I think I could go pro before I win that.
I don't think so.
I think I could. I could be a kicker or something.
Quinn, we all saw
not?
your 30.
I don't have to
3-yard
run if I'm a
dash.
punter, and I can bail on it at any time.
You don't think you
I'm
have to
trying
run?
to beat Pat McAfee and kill somebody.
Can you punt?
We could find out.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna take you. I got to go run my 40s anyway.
Listen, you tell me I can win the Powerball or go punt. I'll go win the Powerball. I'll take that any day.
Well, hands down.
Yeah,
But
I
you
think
got to
can be a
play
punter.
it. That's what I told my wife. I said you got to
Yeah.
play it. But like,
Not happening.
what's crazy is I look at that and I go, you have a better chance of winning the Powerball tonight than you do of being a professional athlete, especially at the ripe old age of 37. You know,
Well, that's retirement age.
Oh
in
my
every
gosh.
sport except
Yeah.
for like hockey.
Yeah, I wasn't too excited when I
Hockey
saw
golf.
some of the
That's about it.
37-year-olds in pro football, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that guy hasn't played for 10 years. But in all seriousness, to kind of put a bow on this conversation, when you're talking to these 7th graders, their parents, what's the one thing you want these kids to get out of your program, to be a Laker, to be, under the tutelage of you and Nate? What's the one thing that you hope they take away more than anything else?
Honestly, it's more growing them as people. Like I want them to become better athletes, obviously, which naturally they're going to do anyway, because they're getting gym time, they're getting reps, they're getting things that most kids go home in spring and don't get, which that alone is enough. But I mean, we try to build that family that we want. I mean, it's sounds weird and stupid and whatnot, but we basically want them to stay together. Like I've had a high school group, my sister's group. I coached her since she was in 7th grade. They all stayed together all the way through. Something like that, and they're still friends today. That's kind of something that we want to build. Because basketball's second all the time to life and college and all that stuff. Like
Family.
At the end of the day, if we build them as family and we see them all graduate and go to college, we did our job.
You won.
That's what I care about.
That's the ultimate championship, man.
Absolutely.
But nobody's handing out trophies for that, which they should.
No.
We're here with Quinn Pushkar. Those of you who know him, love him. Those of you who don't, need to. Quinn, before we go, we got to talk a little bit about high school football season, volleyball season, soccer season right on deck. I mean, we still have some work to do, and we still have to tie things up here at YSN with baseball. Softball has come to its complete halt for the year. We thank everybody for all. But, dude, we've got 62 games this weekend in the NABF alone. You were handed that yesterday, and you filled it up. We are completely filled up. 62 games on the NABF this weekend on YSN. If you can't make the games, and you need to go out and see this talent at Ysn Park, if you can't get there, but for some reason, we have you covered on YSN. How did you do it? Like, I guess that's the easiest question. How did you pull that off?
We got great announcers. Just looking at the list of guys that are doing games, it's everybody that's been doing it all summer. they show up, they want to do it. It's all on them. I got nothing to do with it. I just put the schedule together.
Like, what's the magic? Like, that has to be, I've always thought of it like a game of, okay, matching, this person, this, but you do it so quickly, like almost instantaneously. How, like,
I mean, it's nice having Richie here. Like, basically being my neighbor, I can go pound on his door and tell him, hey, you're doing this, this, and this. But having guys like Matt Mayer that are always down at scene, Noah Ricks, David Williams, guys like that, Ty, Noah Doty, just looking at some of the guys that are on the list, Dom O'Brien, Ian O'Brien, all these guys that are all year long, they've been doing baseball and softball. They love it. They'll do it.
You've been here for 4 years now? 4 out of the 5?
Something like that.
So what is your favorite part? I mean, you've worn every hat there is to wear at YSN outside of, really, this is your least favorite part, is being on air. Yeah. So what's the thing that makes you keep coming back? I mean, we put out the invitation to be announcers, to join the family, and we've got an unbelievable response from it. But if somebody were to ask you, why is it that you love being part of YSN? Why is it that you keep coming back? What is it about this leaky building that brings you back from Canfield every day?
It's the one time I'll be in East Palestine other than when I'm coaching here. No, it's just what we do. Like, it's something that nobody else does. And, being on the coaching side of things, I see the need for something like this. And it's filling a void that is not here in our area anymore. So getting to be a part of something like that and grow something like this is unbelievable. And just seeing, like, just coaching the 7th graders, I'm going to be able to watch them play all their high school games in the future. Something like that is just, I don't know, it's tough to explain, but something that's a need that we get to be on the front side of.
From the janky graphics.
Plus, I get to hang out with Tiger.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to hang out with Cardboard Tiger?
I don't know about the other one, but
the janky graphics that we had when you walked in to all the stuff we have now. I mean, we barely had, like, it was still a mattress store when you came in.
My desk was a mattress.
It was a mattress.
I got to sleep every day. It was great. Maybe that's why.
There it is. I mean, do you ever stop and like take a step back and go, look what we did?
Not
and
yet.
I say we.
Not yet. I won't be there yet. It'll take me a while. You get to do that. Take a step back and look at it, because I see that we're still moving forward. That's
amen, brother.
That's all I care about. I mean, when way down, when I can retire, that's when I'll look at it.
We're ways away from there, unless our buddies come in and we're going on a yacht or a cruise. All right, it's time. You know what time it is. It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you need to visit our buddies over at Joe Dickey Electric. Tell Eric Carlson that we sent you. Oh, and by the way, if you can't get over to their what do I want to say? Their main headquarters in North Lima, go to DickeyElectric.com. Sign it up today. Quinn, what is your spark?
I don't even know. I didn't even think of that. That's tough. I don't know. I got some good stuff today.
You did. You spoke a lot today.
I know. Spark was myself. I talked today.
Kudos.
That's it. That's it. We'll go with myself.
Smooth as silk on the microphone today. I'm proud of you. You know what my spark is? My negative spark? We had a training today, my wife and I. That's why I was late getting here. You know what we missed out on?
Lunch.
Doyle's lunch.
And
I'm going to walk over there, and I'm going to see what it was, and it's probably going to be impressive.
I'm not even going to look.
We got to know what's tomorrow.
I'll look tomorrow.
If you've never been to East Palestine, downtown East Palestine, first off, come in, check out the studio. Secondly, go over to Doyle's lunch between 11:30 and 1:30.
I've done enough looking in the past.
I
missed.
A $5 bill gets you probably one of the best lunches you're going to have, especially for that. I mean, Subway is not a $5 footlong anymore. It's like $10. You can go to $5 to Doyle's and get a hearty meal that'll fill your loins, and you'll be ready for the rest of the day. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Quinn, as always. And this was I didn't make you do this. You came in on your own because you're a legend.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
and I appreciate it. We'll be here tomorrow. Scotty Mincher will be here. Your brother from another mother will be here, and we will have Scotty on. I believe Richardo will be here as well.
A legend.
Scotty is a legend. We have a lot of legends here. Richard Giuliano will be here, and we'll talk about the home run derby because we watched it for 3 hours together. Kyle, and I. And we'll go over everything else that happens here locally. Are there games tonight?
Yeah, Palomino games.
Palomino games resume here on YSN. We'll have all that and more. And we thank you for tuning in. Check us out tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on YSN. Till then, peace. YSN, thanks.